Hey there, welcome to Man Runner. In today's video, I'm going to talk through the equipment that I use for filming videos. First, I'm going to talk you through generally the types of equipment. Then I'm going to show you the typical scenarios I might use it in. And then I'm going to show you as I'm actually out making a running video. I'm making this video as part of a series of videos. I teach a class on how to make YouTube videos to students, and I also thought then that maybe showing some of these videos to my regular viewers, they might like to see what actually goes on. In the first video, I showed the process by which I come about how I might make a video. This one's about equipment, and the next one will be about editing. I have a lot of equipment. Some of it's complicated to use. I don't know how to use all of it. This is not a thorough in-depth view of any particular piece of equipment. If you would like to see that, just pop something in the comments and I'll happily go through something in exhaustive detail. But for the moment, I'm trying to show you a range of stuff, enough to let you figure out what you can make videos with stuff that you already have, and ask questions about some of the other stuff that you might find useful, and hopefully get you on the way to making videos yourself. What's the best camera in the world? Well, it's the camera you have, and most times with me, it's just the iPhone 12 Pro Max. There's 3 lenses here. I rarely clean them. I take it out of my pocket. I take panoramas. I take snapshots along the way. It's a really good camera. I make vlogs every weekend, and in those vlogs, I just use the iPhone, and I'm constantly astounded by its quality, its versatility, and the ease of getting to know how to use it. So I'm guessing most people who are watching this video have a smartphone of some device that will capture some images, and they really do produce great images. But there's times when a little bit more versatility is required. Starting at the other side, this is an Insta360 Go 2. It's not my favorite camera. I mean, this is the box it comes in, or the case. This is the camera itself. I use this, it's very lightweight, and there's lots of mounting devices for it. I'll come into that separately. It'll go up to 1080p, the iPhone will do 4K, and this will do 1080p. I find the software confusing to use, but there are situations where this is actually a very good camera, and I'll hopefully show it later. I find it a nightmare to get the data from the camera back onto my computer, and I find the app that you have to learn complex. But there's some situations where this is an absolutely brilliant camera, but I use it rarely. The cameras I use most of the time are GoPros. So this is a GoPro Hero 6 or GoPro 6. This is an 8. When the 8 came out, the feet that are on the mounting system were buried into it. And then somewhere in here, this is a 9, Hero 9, and this is a Hero 10 Black. So this is the latest GoPro. I pretty much use all of them. I try to use the latest ones when I can, because you get a better image quality. So you'll get higher frame rates, and I think the GoPro 10 goes up to 5.3K, which means that I'm generally shooting in 4K, and then I can edit. If I get the angle off or whatever, I can rotate. I can do all sorts of things. It gives me flexibility. I'm looking forward to the 11 coming out. I mean, essentially, I'm trying to move upstream. The quality really does improve with the GoPros. Having said that, you may not need that kind of high quality. You may be perfectly fine with an 8 or a 9. My friend Colin and I were talking about this the other day. Colin mounts his GoPro on a bike, so he's got a very fixed mount. So some of the things that might be available in the 10, he doesn't need. One of the things that I use a lot, this is a max lens mode. The latest GoPros, you can change the lens. This one is a max lens. It's very helpful for the running shots. I'm trying to keep the camera level, and not always easy. Again, with GoPro, they keep changing their menu systems. Sometimes it's confusing and hard to operate, but somehow or other, I get by. A piece to camera, although I use the iPhone on a Sunday, when I first started, I used this. It's a Micro Four Thirds, I think, camera, but it's a small Canon M5. Very good camera. I think it's been replaced by the EOS M50. It's got a screen that tilts down. The early videos I made with this, it's the tilting down is tricky, because if you've got a tripod, it's useless. So it'll do a few other things. It'll articulate in a different way, an articulating screen. But I prefer if it folded out. But nonetheless, this is a very, very good camera starting out for vlogging, various other things. It's light, it's easy to use. It's got Canon's menu system. Really, this is a super little camera. This was what I first started making these videos in. Then I went out and I decided I used to be a very keen photographer in my youth. We did a few photography classes at college, and then I got kind of handy at it. I bought myself a Canon A1. I'd learned on a Canon Pentax Spotmatic that my dad had. Really simple to use, it's fantastic. But I went out and I bought a Canon EOS R5. Now, you'll have seen earlier in the video, me with a GoPro here looking there. So you can see the EOS R5. In this particular configuration, it is tricked up. So it's got a small rig cage around it. It's also got auto cue running off the iPhone. And up there, it's got an Adidas Ninja 5 Plus. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this. So you'll see this. I'll explain it a bit later on. But the more you go up, the Canon will record in 8K. I don't record in 8K. I want to try to record in 8K, but there's so much learning to do with each of the things. But at its essence, this is a pretty good camera. Oh, the camera's this side, for filming videos. And I'll show later, I'm going to show you some scenarios. But that's a kind of overview of equipment that I use. Good quality sound is really important. You kind of notice bad sound almost sooner than you'll notice bad image quality. A lot of people will watch low resolution videos on their iPhone, possibly with bad broadband or whatever, but they might have an expensive pair of headphones on and they'll notice the bad sound. Most of the devices I have record sound. So the GoPros record sound, the iPhone records sound, the Adidas records sound, the Canon records sound. It's everywhere, but it's not how I best go about recording sound. The way I typically go around sound is, let's forget the microphones first. So I'm a particular fan of Rode. They're in Australia. They make very good microphones, all over microphones. I've got a variety of different types. This one plugs into my iPhone. So this one I use every Sunday. This thing here is known as a dead cat. It's a sound muffler. I don't need to use it inside. But if I take the iPhone here, then I can take the Rode microphone. It's got a lightning connector. You can get them with non-lightning connectors if you're on Androids, and you plug it in and away you go. It's really good, really simple to use. There's also an outlet out the back. There's a kind of clip thing to help it go onto the iPhone, but it's really good. So that's probably my basic good standard microphone. I also have a couple of Saramonic ones. This one will clip into the laptop, and this one has a lightning connector. These are both pretty good, not expensive. One of these cost me $5 at the duty free. One was $40 in Best Buy in somewhere in Arizona, and so those are some of the basic microphones I've got. I have a Rode lav mic. This is a lav mic, so typically this would be connected up here. I don't typically like to use lav mics, and I have a very long cable if I needed it. It's kind of handy. I have a wireless transmitter, so a lot of times you're far away from maybe the camera and you'd like to record sound. So these are the wireless Go 2 system from Rode. I had the wireless Go 1, which is 2. I ruined it trying to record the sound on Sounding Mount Stranders as I ran along. I covered it in salt and water. That was a really basic mistake. Anyway, never mind. They're really good. So you clip one on to yourself and then one on to where the recorder is, and it connects between the two. They also record, the latest version will also record sound internally. They're kind of handy. Another solution that I had to resort to when I was in the States, because I forgot to bring recording equipment, was sticking in a pair of Bluetooth headphones. So these will transmit sound as well if I'm going to the iPhone. So this can be a solution that you can all use, that you probably all, I guess most people have Bluetooth headphones. It can be pretty handy. Unless you lose them in Buckeye, Arizona, which I did. Hence the sound quality in some of the Monument Valley pieces of camera was really terrible. Anyway, don't lose equipment. I mean, that's why I suppose I've got a lot of redundancy. It's always good to pretty much have one good piece of equipment and then something else that I can make do with. Up here is the Rode microphone. I go over a wire to the Tascam recorder. It took me ages to figure out how to use the Tascam recorder. I mean, really ages. All of this stuff I've picked up myself in the last couple of years by watching YouTube videos. So Curtis Judd had a great video about the Tascam. It's a D60 Mark II, I think. But it's a really good recorder. Figuring out how to set the levels and all that took me a long time. So It's one of the reasons I make YouTube videos, I suppose, is to try and explain things. Any of them I can do in detail at a later stage, but sound is really important. But at the most basics, you can probably use the headphones you've got, or you can get a cheap microphone that will plug into the iPhone. The next most important thing after sound is light. Greatest light in the world is obviously the sun. I use that all the time. When I'm out doing my running videos, I typically go early in the morning or late in the evening, what's known as golden hour, when the sun is coming up or going down. When it's warm, adds a lovely richness to the imagery. Now also, it's handy for me outside. There's less people about. Much easier in summer when it rises earlier in the morning. I can tell off my watch what time it's going to rise, what time dawn is, what time sunrise is, and I go out and time my videos accordingly. But when I'm in here and in various other scenarios, I might need to add lights. So there's a light there at the moment, and there's a light behind my back. So I'll go through some of the ones. The light behind my back is a newer light, NWE, or I might get around to putting a full list of all this into descriptions, but if there's anything you want to know about, just ask. This is an LED photo light. It's got a couple of different filters you can pop in and out. I think there's a red one, a yellow one, maybe a green one. Plugs into the USB. So this one is plugged into the USB over there. The reason there's one behind my back, it gives a little bit of separation between me and the background. And so I pretty much put that in all the time. The next simple light I've got is by Aperture. They make some really outstanding lights. This is one here. I've got it onto effects. That's fire effects. You can change the colors, you can change the intensity. I think I'll try and see if I can get a different effect going. There's a cop car. There's pulsing. If I hold it down and then I go to HSI, I can change the colors. So in the hue and the intensity, I can go around, cycle around them. And then if I go to this one, I can change the color temperature. So 5600. And if I go there, I can change the intensity again. And it's magnetic. Fantastic. I usually use it, you'll see later on, I use it to highlight shoes when I'm going on my turntable video. It's got a 1/4-20, so it'll fit on a tripod. It's a really superb light. I've got two of them. It's really superb, not massively expensive. Well worth it. It is really good. Then there's another light. It is another newer light. It's again an LED with some barn doors. So the barn doors open up so you can direct the light. I have to be careful with the directional light because of shadows on my glasses. Takes standard Sony type batteries in the back. It can do all the stuff the Aperture one does. Both of them have an app to control from your phone. I don't typically. This one I've got on the barn doors. I'm only using it at the standard color temperature, but I have two, and it's another really good light. I have one of these. I use this rarely. And what is this actually? It's a Photofil C100. So I haven't used this in ages. It's pretty good. Aperture makes some very good versions as well. But in order to diffuse the light, it comes with a giant softbox. It's heavy, it needs power. Usually it would go over there. But it takes me a long time to set up. And I found in the end, obviously with something like that, I'd be making a video at night. I found it better, more conducive to making the video at this time of day. What time is it? It's 12. Gosh, it is 12. So time's running on. But this time of day is better for making the videos, just in terms of my workflow and just what I'm doing. It's a really good light. If I had a purpose-built studio, I'd have it up all the time, but I don't. So I rely on natural light from the sun, augmented by some light there. Another light I use, and again to try and get you to use the light from home, this is a simple IKEA light. So I use this for going inside a shoe to show how breathable the shoe is. So lights, we all have them. Typically, you can adjust the color temperature in Premiere Pro. So if it's too warm or inconsistency, you can do all that. But light is really important. Let's talk about mounting systems. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the iPhone. So the simplest, easiest camera, the easiest thing to do is to attach either this Rode one is the easiest one to attach. It screws onto the iPhone. So you screw it in. I'll actually do it the other way around. So screw it in this way, tighten it up, and it's nice and tight. Now, to get this onto something meaningful, you use, typically with photography, there is a 1/4-20 thread. This one I think is an 1/8, but this is a spigot which has both. But effectively, most tripods have 1/4-20 on them. So we just stick this in here, and all of a sudden you've got your iPhone on a tripod. Very handy. So 1/4-20 is really good. The other thing that I use then is an Arca Swiss mounted. This is a small rig. So it's an iPhone one. This one works by friction. It's got a 1/4-20 there. If I want to attach it to a tripod, it uses an Arca Swiss mounting plate, which I'll show you here. In you go, that's the Arca Swiss. So they're simple ways of attaching your iPhone to various devices. The Insta360 has its own little support in its little housing, so it'll have a little sort of tripod of its own. Fold that up. But most usefully, in the car, I have a mount. It sits in the center of the dash. It's very handy. I feel myself in con on it. Very good sound out of this. But I'm wearing a magnet now, and lo and behold, it's very easy to do. Particularly if you're wearing a white shirt, very discreet way of going about making some filming if you're doing some street footage, etc., etc. The Insta360 has loads of adapters. I've got all sorts of ones, but effectively it also works around a 1/4-20. There's a 1/4-20 there. So it has its own little capture devices, and then it also will fit with a GoPro mounting system and a 1/4-20, and we'll come to that. GoPros used a pronged method. So this is the latest, it's GoPro 10, and the fingers come out and then they attach to various things. This one here happens to be a mouth mount. Yeah, there we go. So this is so I bought this mouth mount because I have a video plan. I bought it ages ago. The video won't be made for another 6 months at the earliest. Anyway, I've planned this video, and that's a mouth mount. You boil the rubber in a kettle. Works really good, and again attaches to a GoPro. So that's one GoPro mount, but I've lots of ones. This is one for a suction mount. I use this in the car. I stick this on the bonnet of the car. The car needs to be clean and dry. But I went 42.2 kilometers filming a marathon route with this on the front. I tried to attach it to that. It doesn't work. It's somehow the friction between the two, or the suction isn't good enough. There's a variety of other mounts with GoPro. I typically try to get 1/4-20 attachments to then attach to the GoPro so I can stick them on tripods. In this particular instance, I'm using a Lanzi piece, so I can have this on the ground. I can have one camera going that way, one going that way, and I can jump over it and get some continuity. Or I can have one at a very slow frame rate and one with a fast frame rate. All that kind of stuff. That's very handy. I discovered that one of the things I discovered as I went along was that this is even handier. So this particular one has 4 attachments. So you screw in this in my little tripod, and then I can attach 4 GoPros here. Usually, again, one maybe going that way, one going that way, and then another one maybe going that way as I run past. So I've done that. So that's pretty handy. There's a couple of other things down here when I think about it. I don't use this very often. It's a DJI Osmo gimbal. Gimbals, I find, it's just another thing to learn. And that's an early version. There's a newer version with magnetic clips for the iPhone. But largely the iPhone has enough stability internally with it for me to not use that gimbal. I've used this a lot. This is I really like this. This is a switch pod, it can go as a desk mounted tripod. There's a ball head on this, change the angle. But it's really good, very good at arm's length for vlogging. A really good, solid piece of kit. I've been known to stick on the sound recorder and then the microphone, the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus, it's up there, and get a very, very good, very effective, very good sound vlogging pieces. I've done that a few times. Another thing that's around here is this. This is made by Teleson, and not strictly for attaching cameras per se, but when you attach this to a camera and or a camera to it and it to a tripod, it will track you as you run by, which is handy for shots. It has a very infuriating remote control, so sometimes that makes me completely mad. There are lots of different ball heads that I use, so this would be for a heavy one for a heavy camera. This is a small one that comes with the Rode, so this would attach to the tripod very easily, so you can change the angle of what's on it if you're on uneven ground. I use a lot of times, I'll take, you'll see this hopefully, these are, I don't know what they call them, but anyway, they're selfie sticks. And I usually prefer a longer one. There's a longer one here somewhere. Yeah, this is the Insta360, really good quality. They work on friction. So this is a longer one. And then I can stick that on, if I need even more length, which I sometimes do, stick that on the end of that, hold it out. The camera's on the end of this. And again, I can change the angle of the camera on the end of that, because here's one of the GoPros lying around, the 9. I like these kind of attachments. and then you can adjust that quickly. There's a company that makes snap mounts in America. I plan on checking those out. But this is a very good system. I mean, I'm obviously doing my feet down below. So those are some of the basic mounting systems. You need height a lot of times. You'll have seen earlier, or you will see, I use this on a tabletop. It's very good. It's by iFootage, going up and down. This is a short one. There's a tall one behind my back. I use those extensively. In the house, they're very easy because the floor is flat and it'll go vertically. But when I'm outside, I use this. I was amazed when this came. I couldn't believe the quality of this. It's by iFootage. It's basis of what I use for monopods. You can change the angle of the legs. I don't typically, but I put it, let's say I'm outside on uneven ground. I can change the angle of this. I take the shaft off it. Really good. I don't over tighten this, so I'm not trying to get it really tight. I'm trying to get it sufficiently tight that when it's on uneven ground, I can move the rod very easily. So typically what I do is I'll attach this piece here. When I'm outside, the GoPros are very light. So okay, just one time they blew over in the wind and in a hurricane, I suppose. But this is a very simple. I'll just stick it on the desk, but I can. I'm hitting this hand. I can change the angle of it very easily and just with a bit of friction. So this is kind of handy. Sometimes I use around the table. I've got a level which I use for making very quick adjustments if I'm out. I have one of these. I've got a couple of ones. This is which I can check to get a very quick level. You can do a lot in post, obviously. Another thing that I would use a lot is light stands. So there's one there. Here's one here. Again, the spigot goes in, so this goes in and tightens, and it can go horizontally or vertically. The spigot, because so there's a couple of different things in there. Very handy. And then most importantly, I've got a C stand which has got the mic there. It's going up and down. You'll see it in the setup videos. Very easy to adjust. It uses some sandbags down the bottom to weigh it down, and then tripod. So there's a 3-legged tripod there. I think that's the company. It's okay. I might need a more durable one, but the most important thing is it's a 3-legged thing. It's beautiful quality to what they make. Real British engineering. It's really, really beautiful piece. I've got 2 of these for some reason. Stags down in England. But the tripod, I'm looking at getting a different tripod, a more heavy duty one, because I've recently got, the ball head is very good for making quick adjustments. So you can very quickly make adjustments, and it is really good. But for what I'm trying to do in here, I want to make very small adjustments, and the camera has got a cage attached to it, and then it's got a sort of teleprompter thing which I'm not using at the moment, and then it's got a recorder up the top. So it's got a lot of weight on it, and I want to make micro adjustments. And if you try to do that with a ball head, it could all go wrong very fast. So I've got a Benro geared tripod head, so you can change the axis very slowly. You'll see in the setup video where I'm looking at the back of the camera. The camera itself has a built-in level, so that I use to try and get the shot. A lot of stuff I can do in post. You'll see in the setups here, an awful lot of stuff I can adjust in post. But with this particular thing, I prefer to get it right. Typically, if you can get stuff right in the footage that you capture first, that's better. Better to catch it upstream rather than downstream. Solve the problem upstream. That's one takeaway, to use a cliche, but one takeaway is solve the problem upstream. Downstream, you can only do so much. So I'm going to show you a couple of the basic setups. One is for a vlog I made at the weekend. I've got essentially the taller version of this, which is behind my back here with the light on it, and I'm loading it up and down. I'm screwing on the iPhone using the Rode mount. I'm sticking in the microphone. Quick tip I learned the hard way. Set it to airplane mode. The mic works better. So I did that. And then I'm filming. I stuck a GoPro on one side of the room and a GoPro on the other side. So you'll see a bit from both sides, and then I'll speed it up, but I'll show a quick bit of me talking, so you'll get an idea of the difference in the sound quality coming off the internal recorder on the iPhone with the Rode mic. I think it's a Video ME or whatever. I'm not sure. I'll put the name in the description. But it's the vlogging microphone from Rode, as opposed to the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus with the Tascam recorder. So the first video will be the actual videos recorded, so you can hear the sound from the Rode microphone and the video from the iPhone. And then I'll show the setup taken from 2 GoPros on the other side of the room. And then you'll hear the sound from the GoPros. One you'll notice isn't very good because it's coming from the back of my head. So let's go. Hey there, welcome to All Man Runner. In today's vlog, I'm going to talk about training and running shoes. Hey there, welcome to All Man Runner. Hey there, welcome to All Man Runner. So that was two videos simultaneously taken from the opposite side of the room as I set up and began to record the vlog that went live the other day. The next video is me filming the turntable. So I've got a camera up above and I have a camera behind another GoPro just filming me setting up. And in this particular instance, I cleaned the top of the surface of the mirror. There's guide points, it's etched so that there's a guide point for the shoe, so that when I film the side of the shoe, I also film the sole of the shoe. And then I can speed that up in post to match whatever voiceover I have at the time. But this is a simple video. You can see I've got the simple aperture light to highlight one side of the shoe, and then I have another light lighting the main shoe. The next set of videos is about setting up for this particular video. You see me from a GoPro taken from the other side of the kitchen, setting up all this stuff, the microphone up there, the C-stand, the lights. So you should see all of that and get an idea of what's involved. And then I think I start faking it about sort of as if I'm introducing this shoe. And so then that'll stop, and then you'll see the actual start of this video taken with this stand here with a GoPro on it looking directly at the camera. Kind of going full circle really. Hey there, welcome to All Man Runner. Today's video, I'm going to review this, the Adidas, what was this? Adizero. Boom. Hey there, welcome to All Man Runner. In today's video, I'm going to talk through the equipment that I use for filming videos. First, I'm going to talk you through generally the types of equipment, then I'm going to show you the typical scenarios I might use it in, and then I'm going to show you as I'm actually out making a running video. So I've given you probably a good idea of the equipment I use inside the house, but of course in a running channel, a lot of your filming is outdoors. So I'll show some images. I made a video of an Adidas Takumi Sen 8 shoe at the weekend, and I filmed in Salt Hill in Monkstown. The important thing outside is to make sure you keep an eye on your equipment. So I ran quite a distance from the camera a lot of times, but it's very safe because it's early in the morning and there's sort of controlled access to that particular area over a couple of bridges. So easy enough to do, but you'll see me running along with a variety of sticks that I'm using with the camera, the GoPro on the end, and then at one point in time I'll show a still image of me running upstairs. Well, I won't be running upstairs, but you'll see a picture of the GoPro on a stick on the tripod, and that features in the video, and a couple of other things, some taken with my iPhone, some taken with GoPros, as I make this video of this particular shoe. That's the equipment I use to make the video, and the next video I'll show the editing process, what I do with the footage once I've got it made. One thing I will say is try and keep it simple. Things go wrong. The Adidas Ninja needs a firmware update. The memory card got stuck in the camera, had to be pulled out with the tweezers. The other memory card got full, and even though I was emptying it, the camera kept saying it was full until I turned the camera off for 10 minutes. The batteries ran out on the light. I forgot to turn the light on. I forgot to turn on the sound recorder a couple of times. It functioned pretty well today. I had to stop to power the mic. The electricity company came and banged on the door, so that ruined a couple of takes. I had to let the guy in to read the meter. Siri kept going off on my phone. My God, it hasn't gone off now. All sorts of things. That's just today. That's just the some of the things that went wrong today. So whatever you do, keep the equipment simple to make it as simple as possible to get the effect you want. The effect should rule, not the equipment. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, it'd be great if you hit the like button. There'll be some stuff in the descriptions below. And as always, I'll happily answer any questions you pop into the comments. There'll be a big blue subscribe button popping up there and some related videos there. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, just keep running along.